How many of you a couple months ago remember that there was a story about Don Lemon on the night of the Paris Charlie Hebdo attacks asking a Muslim human rights lawyer whether he supported ISIS or not? Yeah, that was me. I was that guy. I was that Muslim human rights lawyer that Don Lemon asked on national television on the night of the Paris Charlie Hebdo attacks, when I was there to condemn the attacks, which I did for the first 4 out of the 6 minutes. He then started to cite this obscure poll from Newsweek on French Muslims, and as I'm explaining my answer in a follow-up question, he asks me, so do you support ISIS? Now, for a minute, remember this, I'm a Muslim human rights lawyer, and he just asked a human rights lawyer if he supports an organization that violates human rights every single day. It's the moral equivalent of asking a white man if he supports the Ku Klux Klan. There were over 5,000 media articles that were written in the next 24 hours on that big Don Lemon gaffe. And I assure you, had I been any other religion other than Muslim, I would not have been asked if I supported a terrorist organization. When we talk about the coverage of Islam and Muslims in our media zeitgeist, yes, people of all religions are covered in the media, but there is no religious demographic group in the world today that is placed with more collective guilt in the media than Muslims. So when a Muslim does something, Muslim thought leaders, scholars, everybody has to make the rounds and condemn these attacks. But when Anders Breivik in Norway slaughters 77 teenagers and tries to assassinate the Prime Minister of Norway and leaves behind a 1,500-page treatise calling himself a soldier of Christianity, we do not expect the Vatican to come out with public responses. We don't expect Christian leaders to come out and do that. But even though we do this, and we've done this until our hairs have turned white for the last 15 years, still people say that Muslims don't condemn terrorism enough. If you type in the words Muslim condemn terrorism on Google, you'll get over 700,000 results. You're not looking if you don't think that Muslims don't condemn terrorism. But it's fed into this narrative not only about Islam and Muslims being equal to terrorism, but now the term terrorism has been co-opted to only apply when a brown Muslim man does an act, and when a white Christian guy goes into a church in South Carolina and has a race war ideology and slaughters 9 innocent African American people, that is not called an act of domestic terrorism. I promise you, if he was a brown Muslim, it would have been.
Yeah, by the way, that's not just, talk. I mean, so in 2010, a far-right anti-government terrorist by the name of Joseph Stack flew an airplane into an IRS building, killing a government official, left behind a big manifesto saying that the only response to the American government and its crimes is violence. He was not designated a terrorist. When Jared and Andrea Miller, those anti-government zealots in Las Vegas, assassinated police officers, left behind a "Don't Tread on Me" flag and carved not carved, but left swastikas on them, they were not designated as terrorists. When Michael Wade Page walked into a Sikh temple and slaughtered 6 people, he was not called a terrorist. Dylan Roof is not called a terrorist, which is a proof that the word terrorist is totally meaningless. It says far more about the person using the word than the person being described. And I think that's precisely the point that I was trying to make, is that the media functions in the same exact way that a ABC late-night drama functions. And I can tell you that having sat in editorial rooms at major news networks and having been in numerous writers' rooms for network dramas, I can't tell the difference between the two. Because I sit in these editorial rooms and it's like, what's the story? Who's the protagonist? Who's the antagonist? What's the arc? Where's the climax of it? Where's the danger? Like we're talking about revenge or something,